Welcome to this tutorial showing you how to create a piece of artwork in response to the artist Celia Cueto. And you'll see in Photopea, I have already opened up a photograph of my daughter, and I have opened up a photo of some clouds that I found on Google. I'm now going to go to File, New, and create a new project, but I want it to be square, so I'm going to choose Print and A4, and I'm going to make sure that the width is the same as the height. And then I'm going to press create, and that creates a new square project for me. I'm then going to use the rectangle select on the cloud photo to select a part of it. And then I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy that, and then Ctrl V to paste it into my new project. And then I'm going to use the arrow tool just to resize that so it fits the whole of the project. Okay, that's my background sorted. So I'm now going to go to the photo of my daughter, and I'm going to use the rectangle select tool just to select the top half of her. Press Ctrl C to copy that, and then go back to the project and press Ctrl V to paste her in. Okay, I'm then going to use the arrow tool to position her down the bottom in the middle and resize her to the size that I want. Okay. Right, now I don't want the background of her, so I'm going to use the polygonal select tool once I've zoomed in. Okay, get good and close. Polygonal select tool, and then I'm going to draw around her, clicking along the line to get it nice and accurate. I'm doing it very quickly. I suggest you take a bit more time. And I'm cutting her head off, so I'm going around her collar of her t-shirt and then back down the other side. And down her arm. And then up and around the rest of the background of that photo, and then back and press delete, and that gets rid of the background on her. Now I need to replace the collar or the back of her t-shirt that I cut off. So I'm just going to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to use the free pen tool, and I'm going to draw what I think would be the rest of her t-shirt in, and then down and around back to the point. And I made sure with my free pen tool that I had the fill on, doesn't matter what color, no stroke, and I had the tolerance quite high, around 50%. I'm then going to right click on that layer and rasterize it and bring it underneath the t-shirt. I'm then going to use the color picker to choose a kind of dark gray, not too dark, because I want to add some shadow in here and I want that shadow to be visible. I'm then going to use the paint bucket tool to fill that shape with that gray, and then I'm going to double click on that layer, and I'm going to use the inner glow to add a shadow around the inner edge. And you're going to have to play with the settings to get whatever you feel is best. And then I'm using the inner shadow as well, again with settings that I had to fiddle to make sure that I had right, to add a kind of glow on the underneath of her collar. Okay, right, I'm now going to cut away and come back having done a little bit of prep for the next step. Okay. Right, okay, I have, to help me fill the rest of the piece, made a paper crane using origami with a tutorial I found on Google. And I've taken all these photographs at lots of different angles, okay? So with each of my photographs, I need to isolate the crane. So I'm going to use the polygonal select tool and just cut round the whole of the outline of the paper crane. Again, I'm going quite quickly for the sake of the tutorial, but I would suggest you take a bit more time to make sure that it's nice and accurate and that you're not getting any background in. Okay, once you've done that, you then go to select and inverse, and that selects everything else, at which point I can press delete, and that isolates my crane on the picture as nothing else. So now I can use the rectangle select tool to select the whole thing, press Ctrl C to copy it, and then Ctrl V to paste that in. There it is. And then I can use the arrow tool and the shift key to resize that and reposition that without stretching or squishing it. And I've already taken the backgrounds off of my other photos to save you having to watch me do that to all of them. And I'm pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V to cut and paste those into my project. And it's completely up to you where you place these, but the idea is to have it looking like Celia Cueto's work, where you have the cranes flying around in the sky, coming from the neck of the figure and getting bigger and flying away and around. Okay, so it's just a case of rectangle select. Once you've isolated your cranes, Ctrl C to copy them, Ctrl V to paste them into your project. Okay, well, I'm not going to bore you by doing all of these while you watch. I'm going to cut back when they're all done. Okay, right, I have now finished placing all of my paper cranes. And the first thing I'm going to do now is to select all the layers that have paper cranes on them and go Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And that's going to turn them all black and white, which is going to make it easier to colour them in because they all need to be different colours now. Okay, so starting at the top with the top layer, I'm going to go Image, Adjustments, Colour Balance. But if you can remember Control and B, it's going to make life a lot quicker. And then I'm just going to move the red bar up to the top to turn my first layer red. I'm then going to go to my next layer, press Control and B, and move the red down to make a kind of turquoise. Then the next layer, Control and B, and bring the green up. And then the next layer, Control and B, and bring the blue up. And then the next layer, Control and B. See, it's a lot quicker if you know the shortcut. Bring the red down. And then the next layer, Control and B. Bring the blue down. And all of these will make your different layers, your different paper cranes, different colours. And you can move more than one bar, obviously. So in this instance, I'm moving the red and the blue up to make purple. And obviously you want to check which crane is being selected with each layer so that you're not getting the same colours close together. But that's how you will do it. And I will cut away, and I've now finished colouring in all of the cranes in all different colours using that same technique. Okay, right, now I want to take those two cranes in the top corners and make them look blurry. So I'm going to go on the right layer, Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to bring it up to a point where I think it is sufficiently blurred. And once I'm happy with that, that's it. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do the same with the other yellow crane in the other corner, but this time I can click Filter, Last Filter, and it will do the same thing as I just did. I can do it again just to make sure it's really blurred. And that is those two cranes looking like they're right close to the camera. Now I'm going to select all the other layers of cranes, and I'm going to right click and merge those layers together. I'm then going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to put a tiny little bit of blur on these ones just to soften them up just a little bit, like they're moving, but tiny, something like 3. Yeah, something like that. Click OK. Let's have a look. Yep, that's good. Okay, and that is this piece done and dusted. I hope you find this tutorial helpful.